Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me. This short practice is all about helping to release energies that may be pent up, or helping to reset the nervous system. So if you're feeling stressed or anxious, or also just to help relax generally, so suitable to do in the evening, winding down at the end of the day, or even just to reset your system, maybe during your lunch hour. Anytime you need to just sort of take a short period to take some time out and relax. So we're going to use a strap at the beginning here in a minute. If you've not got a yoga strap like this, you can use a belt off a dressing gown is ideal, or something like that. Blocks, I don't think we'll want blocks. You may want to use blocks or cushions. There's the option in some postures to use a bolster cushion like this. It doesn't have to be one of these, it can just be any sort of firmish cushion, a couple of cushions, a couple of pillows even, whatever you have handy. So we're starting just by, in our easy seat pose, and just starting, as we like to do, by closing our eyes, bringing our focus inwards, by bringing our awareness to the breath. Following the breath, inhaling, the rising, and the falling and releasing on the exhale. One of the easiest ways to reset your nervous system and switch on the rest and digest part of your nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, and away from the stress side, is through using the breath and deep breathing. So just bringing awareness to the breath and allowing it to settle and slow, especially allowing the exhalations to soften and lengthen, but not force, just allowing it to happen as you start to relax the body. Just take another moment, follow the breath, using those exhales to invite any areas of tension or holding to soften and release. Even just sitting cross-legged like this, following your breath, bringing your attention onto that breath, is a form of meditation and therefore a form of yoga. So even if you're doing the challenge 15 minutes a day and one day you just do not feel like doing it, just sit and breathe for 10 minutes, still counts. Even just lying down, breathing, relaxing, that's still okay if that's what you need at the time. But for now, we're going to start just by getting that strap or belt that you have. You don't have to use the belt to do these, but it does help a little. So we're coming to lying down to do some leg stretches. So lengthening out through the left leg, bending the right leg, bring that right foot up, place your strap around the ball of your foot, holding onto the strap in both hands, and then just straighten up that leg, just using your hands as a guide, and you can gently ease that leg more towards your face. Again, you can use the exhale and just gently pulling it in on the exhale, trying to invite some release there. Don't try and be pulling too hard, it's just using your hands as a guide. If you want to intensify the stretch more on the inner thigh, you could try pointing the foot, toes outwards diagonally a bit, drawing it a little bit more towards your shoulder to get you stretch at the back here. If you want to keep a soft bend in your knee, do that. Also, don't lock out too much through your knee. And then take both straps into your right hand, bring your left hand down, and just slowly allow your leg to fall out towards the side. Bring your elbow to the floor, using your hands in that strap to just support the weight of your leg, and just come to wherever. May only come 30 degrees. Your leg may come all the way down. You could put your blocks or cushions underneath and just let that be fully passive and let your foot relax down onto some blocks and cushions if you wanted to do it that way. Again, if you want to intensify the stretch, you can try and lift the heel slightly, pulling the leg a little bit more upwards, but only ever go to where you can feel a stretch if you want to have a good stretch, but never any pain. Don't overstretch. Like I say, you can put something under the leg, foot here, or even under the knee to make it more passive. And then bringing that leg back up, switch to the left hand and let the leg fall down across, over the other leg across your body. So as this is a more relaxing, restorative practice, you hold the poses for a little bit longer. And just using the breath to soften and release with the stretch. And then bring that back up, bending the knee. Maybe if your ankle is roll, stretch your leg out. And then switch round to repeat those with the left leg. So, leg up to start with, stretching out that hamstring and the thighs, stretching out across the back of the knee. And then taking the strap into the left hand, allow that leg to fall down to the left. Again, onto blocks or cushions if you wish, or you can just use your hand in your strap to support it, wherever it sort of falls to. You might want to just release it onto the floor. And then bring it back up to centre. Lose the strap now. You just give it a little hug in if you like. And then you can just give your legs a little jiggle. And now what we'll do is a pigeon pose. There are various options for this. So you can I'll show you a different option first. If you don't want to do full pigeon, you could do reverse pigeon, where you are staying lying down on your back, knees bent, and then bring your right leg on top of your left thigh, and you can hold behind that thigh. Just ease that leg in towards you. You can leave that foot on the floor and just use your hand to guide your knee away. You're just creating stretch across the back of the thigh and glutes here and into that hip. So however you want to create that stretch, you can do it that way around. Or if you want to come into pigeon pose, then come to bend your knees like this, so that you've got one front leg is bent. Traditionally that front knee will be at a right angle to your body, but I can't do that. I don't know many people who can. So in our way, our heel is going to come more in towards the top of our thigh, towards our groin. And then what you're doing is taking that back leg out behind you, straight. So you want that leg, to check that little leg's nice and straight behind you. Your heel is in near the top of this hip. Now you can put blocks, whatever kind of blocks or book or cushion pillow under that right hip if you want some support under that hip, or if you're okay to just sort of relax down onto your hips, then do so. But if you feel you want some support under that hip, then please do. So you can stay in an upright pigeon like this, or swan as it's also called, and you can just stay here and just try and breathe into that hip, into that thigh and glute, and into this hip, also stretching it all out. Or you can come down into sleeping swan. You can stay here on your elbows. You can come all the way down to the floor. Or a nice option is to grab that cushion, bolster cushion or pillow, whatever you have, and just fold down onto that, restorative supported pigeon, swan. Just stay here for a few deep breaths. And then just easing yourself back up. Move your bolster out the way if you're using one. roll down onto that hip, removing anything you've got under there, and just swing that leg back round in front of you. Straighten the legs nicely. Give your legs a little bit of a massage at this point. Maybe jiggle them about, loosen off through that thigh. And then come into bound angle pose, which is any of these poses, by the way, pigeon, bound angle, bridge pose that we'll do next. Feel free to just choose 2 or 3 of those poses and stay in each for 5 minutes for a much more restorative, relaxing practice. You don't have to, a practice doesn't have to be filled with 50 different poses. So bound angle is your soles of your feet are together. Remember that length in your spine, shoulders away. And it's also a great pose if you want to give yourself a bit of a foot massage while you're sat here. You can do that. It helps to relax off the pressure points, particularly if you've been on your feet all day. What you can also do in bound angle is butterfly, where we just bob our knees up and down, helping to release off that energy, releasing off through our hips, relaxing off the hips and legs, stretching everything out. And then what we're going to do is come into pigeon on the left side. So if you were doing the reclined reverse pigeon, you'd have your left foot on your right thigh. Go into full pigeon, bring that left heel down towards your groin, taking the right leg out behind you. Have a look behind to make sure it's straight. Again, if you want something under that hip, a bit more support, then you can do. You can stay here in upright pigeon, you can fold down, or you can use your bolster and just relax down. Take a few deep breaths. So to come out of pose, just bring yourself back up and down onto that hip and swing your legs back out to the front. Your thighs a little massage off. Now these last 3 poses, I'm going to show you them quite quickly, but each one you could do for a lot longer. You could do just one of them, choose 1 or 2 of them. You could actually do these 3 together, just as a really nice 15-minute practice on their own, doing each pose for 5 minutes each. Would be a really nice pre-bedtime relaxation practice. So the first one is a bridge pose. All of them have the option to be supported, more restorative poses. If you were to do each one for 5 minutes each, I would say do them as supported poses. So coming to lie down, bring your heels in towards your buttocks, arms by your sides, and then you're just peeling your back off the floor. Use your glutes to push your hips up, rolling up to your shoulder blades, coming into this bridge pose. To do this supported, get your cushion, bolster, and just place that under your hips, and then you can just relax into the pose. come out of the pose. Again, use your glutes to lift your hips, remove your cushion and bolster, and just lower yourself back down to the floor. And when you've done a bridge pose, you counter that by giving your knees a little hug in. And it's nice to just circle with your hands on your knees, just circle them round one way, back the other. Just gives your lumbar spine a little self-massage. So the second restorative relaxation pose you could do is a wide-legged child's pose. So coming onto your knees, and you can sit down in between your feet. If that's not comfortable for you to sit on your feet like that, you can put any folded blanket or a cushion under there to support that. You could put a block underneath, so you're sitting on a block as well. Or if you're comfortable to come down onto your heels, onto your feet, then you could either do this by coming down forward, stretching your arms out, bringing your head to the floor, or you can have a soft bend in your elbows and just have your forearms relaxed on the floor, and your forehead down too. Or if you want to do this in a supported way, bring your bolster or cushion between your knees and just relax down on top of the bolster. And if you were doing it this way and staying here for maybe 4 or 5 minutes, you have your head facing to one side, and then halfway through switch your head over to the other side. And to come out, just ease yourself up with your hands, moving your bolsters to one side and coming back down to seated. And the last pose to show you that you could do is legs up the wall. Legs up the wall is a very relaxing, restorative pose, brilliant for if you have a job where you're on your feet all day. Doing this for 5 or 10 minutes when you got home would be really good. You could do these 3 poses: supported bridge, supported wide-legged child's pose, and this supported legs up the wall as a 10-15 minute practice before bedtime for relaxation as well. So you want to just find yourself a wall that you can wiggle yourself in towards, so that your hips are up against the skirting board, and then you're just resting your legs on the wall. If you want to use a cushion or blocks underneath your hips, then you can do it this way too. And feel free to stay here for as long as you like. In any of these poses, if you're staying in them for 3 or 5 minutes, just allow your awareness to settle back on the breath. As everything relaxes. And you can use the exhales to help the parts of your body relax down into the poses more fully. So I hope that's given you some ideas for some different combinations you could do to make your own relaxing restorative practice. And thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.